So as I plugged, I want to talk a little bit about something known as sleep paralysis. Now I know the theory of what it is, and I'm just quickly pulling up the Google machine here. But to be able to describe to you exactly what it is, okay, this is perfect. Sleep paralysis is a state during waking up or falling asleep in which a person is aware but unable to move or speak. Now, during an episode, it says one may hallucinate, and often results they feel fear for obvious reasons. So basically, waking up or ending up in a state where you are unable to move or speak. Now, this is, I'm sure, a fear for many people, and they've used it in horror movies so many times over the years, to not be able to have control over your own body and being trapped in it. Huge fear. There is scientific explanation for it. Many doctors and scientists could tell you what is causing it, like what's happening in the brain when sleep paralysis occurs to someone. But there could be a ghostly side to it as well. So I want to kind of just think about that for a second. Now, if you have this experience and scientists are monitoring your brain while it's occurring, I'm sure certain parts of the brain are lighting up and certain things are happening that could prove why your body is unable to move in that moment, and they can say, okay, that's science's explanation. But I've never had anybody explain to me deep down, like, what's the next level down? Yes, that is what the brain is doing, but why does it occur? So my theory, and hopefully I don't sound a little cuckoo here, but my theory has always been, if you dive down deep into something where science has explained it, you dive down deep enough that there's always going to be that spiritual element at the bottom, that mystery of, why is it happening? Science can state, okay, this is what occurs when it is happening, but there's no why. What's underneath that? The same thing with life itself. The Big Bang Theory states that there's this massive bang, this explosion of energy, and all of reality came from that. But why did it occur? Why are we here? Why did evolution happened and we evolved into the human beings that we are today? But why? And being here, what's the purpose, if there is any purpose? And my body moves and I think, and there's energy within me that causes all this. But again, how is that occurring? Where is that coming from? We call it spiritual, but there's no explanation for what that is. So to be able to state that sleep paralysis is a scientific explained experience doesn't really explain why it's occurring. So this is kind of where I can jump in and say, okay, again, we're talking about the unknown, and I definitely do not have an explanation for you. But isn't it possible that there could be something not so much ghostly, in the sense that something external is coming in and causing the problem, which I do believe is possible, that an external element or energy can attempt to control you and possession within that, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But from a spiritual level, what in your own energy is creating it? Now, there's the idea of thought, that we get so caught up in our stresses, and that your stresses create a reality in your mind, so that if something bad happens to you, you immediately assume that everything related to that tragic event is also a problem, and you create this reality in your mind, eventually spiraling out into a very depressed state, and then the amount of disease and unrest that comes from that depression can cause all sorts of things, which might include sleep paralysis. So that is like a thought of the origins, but the answer of why it occurs, I don't know. Now, I do have a personal experience with this. It happened when I was in my early 20s, and I was kind of getting into psychic abilities at the time with OBs. I was attempting to do out-of-body experiences back then too, and of course I didn't continue on with it. I've taken a 20 to 30 year break. 30's too much. 20 to 25 year break, and now getting back into it again because I'm fascinated. So I was kind of exploring that, and I was opening myself up to these things. Now, I want you to know, at no point was I ever scared of it. So fear didn't cause any type of hallucination here. I was amazed by it, and I was amazed by the amount of focus that my studies was giving me. So for that reason, when this situation occurred, yes, I did have a focus on it, but no, it wasn't something where fear would have caused it to occur. So, moving right along, the story is one evening I was sleeping in my room, and I don't know, might have been around midnight or so. I never really looked at the clock, but it was dark in the room, and I was facing towards the wall on the one side of the bed with my back to an empty space on the other side of the bed. It was a queen size. And I was having a conversation. Now, this is the part that is a bit strange, because I was half asleep and I was talking to a woman long before I was in any serious relationship. I definitely wasn't married at the time. There was nobody there. But the conversation was very normal to me. It was like it's happened 1,000 times before. And I was just like very calm with it. You know, she would say something, I would say something. It's not a dream. I am awake. I am in that state where I'm, almost back asleep again, but I am awake. I am conscious to what's going on. And then about maybe a minute or so into the conversation, I realized this shouldn't be happening. There's nobody there. And I swung over. I flipped over in the bed, and I remember I got about halfway. I got on my back, and that's when everything just kind of stopped. Now, I couldn't move my arms, I couldn't move my legs, and as well, my eyes happened to be closed when I was flipping over. I was going to open them, but it never happened. I was put into this paralysis before it occurred, so I was just seeing darkness, and I remember trying to force my eyes open, and there's like a bit of light from the street lights coming through the window, and I saw a shadow. There was something on top of me, and I saw the head and the shoulders, but I couldn't open my eyes completely to see it, and it was just like through the slit, I could see the shadow over top of me. And then after maybe, it feels like a lifetime. It feels like a lifetime when you're in the middle of it, and I think at that point I was very new to this sleep paralysis, and I didn't really know what to do, but something did come in and tell me. I don't know how to explain this. That's why I'm kind of fumbling here. Something did kind of come in and tell me to relax. And that was a wonderful lesson. And anybody having sleep paralysis, if you haven't had this lesson yet, this is what I offer to you. Relax. Tell yourself, think the words, just relax, or I am relaxed, and then feel your body relax. I know it is terrifying in the moment. You can't move your arms and legs. It's like you're paralyzed or you're trapped. And especially for me, I can see through the slits. There might be something on my chest looking down at me. It's not easy to relax, but if you can get to that point that you're used to it, the sleep paralysis experience is actually not so bad. So the minute that you're relaxed and you can tell yourself to come back to normal, then it won't be like waking up, but it'll be like being refreshed, being reset, so that your arms and legs will come back there might be a little bit of numbness and vibration that remains, and you'll be back to normal. So that was my own personal experience. I think it's ghostly. I don't know. I'm sure there's scientists who'll say your brain was hallucinating the shadow that was on top of you, and that this is all part and parcel of having sleep paralysis. I'm sure there's proof of that. I don't know. For me, in the moment, it felt very strange, and of the other half of hearing the woman talk to me makes me think that it was something ghostly. It's my own personal opinion. If you have any questions, or you want to offer any advice or concerns about what I just said, you can send me the questions through ggdaniel@ghostwalks.com, or message me through Facebook at ghostguydaniel. But I kind of teased, before I move on to the next segment, I kind of teased the idea of possession. Now, out-of-body experiences aside, this sleep paralysis could be a part of that too, because I was kind of studying it at the time. And, one of the things is to put your body to sleep while your mind is still awake, and that you'll be able to leave your body that way. So it might be related to that. But what I've noticed as well is, from my own experience, and I'm going to do the Cole's Notes version of this, real possession. It's not like what you see in the movies. Real possession is, in my opinions, when an outside energy attempts to take over your living energy. I've seen this a couple times in action, and what I've noticed is one of the first things that occurs in an extreme possession is that the person will go numb, so that they can't move their arms and legs. The couple times that I've seen it, it's been while they were in a standing position, like during a seance, and not even sitting. We were standing during that time, and they would go numb, so they couldn't move their arms and legs. And just like sleep paralysis, it's the same idea that as long as they relax, their natural living energy seems to come in and be able to push whatever's trying to possess them away. Not like the horror movies, so nobody's walking around with a ghost inside them and murdering people. It's actually much less dramatic than that. So it's just staying calm and letting it pass. So there's a parallel there. From my own experience, in my own opinion, there's a parallel between what I've seen with possession and sleep paralysis. I don't know if that explains sleep paralysis in a different way. Maybe you could call it sleep possession. I don't know. But I just want to, put those thoughts out there. Love to have a discussion. I think once people actually start listening to this podcast, I can't wait to have discussions with folks in regards to this. It is definitely one of my favorite things to do. But with saying that,